So, last year, Webtoons and Crunchyroll decided to collaborate and make 3 different animes from Webtoons' most popular comics, Noblesse, God of High School, and my personal favorite, Tower of God. I've read Tower of God's webtoon nearly 8 to 9 times over, and I've watched the anime at least 5 times at this point. So I decided I wanted to analyze Tower of God's anime. Now I know this format will be similar to the format of Overanalyzing Avatar, the YouTube channel that inspired this idea, so to that creator of the series, I thank you for your inspiration, and I'll also thank you for responding to my Twitter post and giving me the permission to do the series. Thank you so much. Now, let's get started off with episode 1 of Tower of God, Ball. I actually like this story's introduction. It helps to introduce some of the main characters, give some reasons why some people would try and climb the tower, and it does a good job setting up the stakes of the story ahead. I also like how in the first few lines they are read directly from the webtoon summary of the comic, which I love reading every single time I open up the webtoon. Not gonna lie, I'm not exactly sure how to feel about this top-down shot of Rachel and Bomb. Despite watching this over and over, it stays being my least favorite shot of the show. Maybe I'm just not a fan of top-down shots. I mean, I don't think I know anybody who likes staring at the scalp of a character. Okay, I low-key love this first scene with Rachel. It kind of sets with who she is as a whole. We get to understand that she is selfish in her own ambitions, regardless of Bomb and what he wants. Also like how this scene effectively sets out Bomb's goal as well. Get back to Rachel. Simple, to the point, it doesn't take too long to explain. Okay, this shot is honestly one of the most confusing shots of the show. It shows a hand reaching out to grab Bomb as if he was chosen to climb the tower, especially since it has Hee-Don's voice in the background as if Hee-Don's choosing him, which we know isn't the case since he's an irregular and Hee-Don doesn't choose irregulars. However, with Rachel in the shot, she isn't grabbed and it's more like the tower opened up for her, which is the exact opposite of what's supposed to happen in this scenario. We know down the line that Rachel fell in first when I was trying to grab Bomb, but they could have done this section differently, or at least not have had Hee-Don's voice in the background as that happens, because that just only creates confusion behind what is an irregular and how is an irregular allowed into the tower. I like Hee-Don's first lines. It really sets a tone for who he is as a whole. Someone who's watching, listening, and will manipulate what he wants/needs for his own desires or to play with others. Also, this particular shot, the white steel is really intimidating and I love it. It shows us what Bomb is seeing, and that would be terrifying on first sight, and I think that's really great. Not gonna lie, the Yuri dropkick really makes me laugh every single time I see it. But it's like, Yuri, did you have to dropkick Bomb in the face? Only to see her later do it to Yuri Casino, and well, I can't help but think of the fact that Yuri just be out here dropkicking irregulars. Also, following up with Evan running in and screaming like an idiot is just hilarious to me. Not gonna lie, the pocket is something I wish I had in real life. It would make learning Spanish a lot easier, especially since I'm currently writing this while stressing about a Spanish final. Also, I'm not gonna lie, Yuri cutting off Evan is a really good example of letting the mechanics of the world explain itself instead of being crammed down my throat via exposition, which honestly, show don't tell. There's a reason for that line. Not gonna lie, I love the concept of the irregular being immediately framed in a negative light, considering what we get from Bomb down the line. It makes a lot of sense why they get this bad rep, and Bomb is no exception to this, especially when we get further into the story. Honestly, I really love how reckless Yuri is. This is probably, in my opinion, the best characterization of any character they got from the webtoon, which is really saying something because they got the characterization of most of the characters pretty spot on, but like Yuri just feels like everybody else feels like 9 out of 10. Yuri feels like that solid 10 out of 10. They got this character perfectly characterized. And I also love how Yuri outright says what I'm constantly thinking. I hate being bored, and that's something that I normally think about a lot. For me, normally when I'm bored, I write or play video games or, make videos. But when Yuri is bored, she decides to cause society-breaking chaos. Don't you love boredom? I find it funny that I relate to Yuri the most out of all the characters in the franchise. Not exactly sure why, but I'll take relating to someone who's kind of human, feels more human than most characters in the story. I like how Bomb was able to figure out how to beat the eel with very little context. In order to climb the tower, you have to be fast thinking, and I think this is a really good demonstration of how clever Bomb is. Not necessarily smart because he's making reckless ass decisions, but really clever. And we get to see a lot more of this later down the line, and I think it's just really great characterization of Bomb. Okay, I love this flashback scene to Bomb in the cave. The music and the composition of the shot really makes it easy to understand Bomb's point of view of things. You can also understand why Rachel means so much to him. The first and only person he's met, the first and only person to show him kindness and affection, the first and only person to acknowledge the fact that he exists. It makes a lot of sense that he would chase after her. I also love how this is intercut with continuous shots of Bomb trying to pop the ball. It doesn't kill the effect of the current narrative with the flashback, and it keeps the pace going instead of slowing down like most flashbacks tend to do in narratives like this one. On top of that, the flashback also really helps support and justify Bomb's desperate behavior to chase after Rachel. We now have more context as to why Bomb is desperate to see her again. She is his everything. He doesn't love her like an actual relationship in the general understanding of what a relationship is. However, he doesn't know how to live without her because she's all he ever had. I love how everyone's justification for helping Bomb is because of his cute face. We get it, he's a cute kid. When else he is? Basically a baby. Bomb's effectively less than 1 year old in this situation. Stops him for Bomb. He's a baby. I like how the Black March warns Bomb of the events that could potentially happen, and how he and Rachel will never be the same. Really solid foreshadowing in my opinion that sets up well the future of the story. I like how we are immediately introduced to the test floor, the stakes that are carried with this particular floor, and we, like Bomb, are immediately thrust into the danger of the situation. It also keeps the pacing of the story that in that up and down roller coaster fashion that we don't see too much later in the webtoon. Also like how some of the main characters we didn't get to see in the intro of this episode are now being shown off here. I love how this episode ends off. I think the ending of this episode is really solid pacing wise, and it keeps people coming back for more. I also love our introduction to Rack and his unique sense of powerful people and items. It does get to show where Rack is interested in, and it aligns with the intro where we see Rack being presented when talking about quote, or something that transcends them all. Alrighty, for episode 1's ranking, I would personally rate this episode a 9 out of 10. As someone who is currently writing a pilot episode, this first episode in my opinion does a lot of things right. It gives us a bit of the world, gives us a bit of the hierarchy, it doesn't waste any time with exposition, and I love it. While there are some shots that are a bit jarring for me, especially the overhead shots looking down at Bomb and Rachel, those are minor gripes and an overall great start. Also, the introduction of each character is solid. Yuri is quickly characterized as a brash and reckless individual, Evan as our foil is the opposite, and they play off each other really well. Hee-Don in my opinion is perfectly played from start to finish with his manipulative personality, and how he also plays everyone like a kind of game of chess. Rachel's introduction is also solid, quickly demonstrating how she's a bit selfish and how she leads Bomb, while Elisa's asking for more of who she really is. Hell, the only character who doesn't get a lot of characterization is actually Bomb. However, this makes a lot of sense since Bomb doesn't really have a lot to him as a whole in the first season. He's primarily a reactionary character, and I don't think that's a bad thing in any way, shape, or form. It just means he doesn't get characterized a lot in the first season beyond being a naive child, which he kind of is. Alrighty, and that's the end of episode 1 of Tower of God. I am personally hoping to keep this as a bi-weekly series. 2 episodes a month, not a bad deal. And the more support I get for this series, the more likely I will be able to continue making it while I do all my other stuff that I have to do. I will be branching this series out beyond just Tower of God to other animes and even other webtoons potentially. So if you're interested, don't forget to hit a like and subscribe button down below. Also, if you're really interested and want to see content early, check out my Patreon, where for $3 a month you can see these videos a week early. Once again, thank you to Overanalyzing Avatar for this concept. If you haven't seen this content, go check it out. It's really great and I like it a lot. Also, thank you for giving me permission to do this series. But for now, ciao.